What up, tubers? Welcome to another lesson in Photoshop with Mr. L. Today I'm going to be doing a walkthrough through one of my, you can kind of say favorite tutorials. It's called Stan's Record Shops. I actually found this a few years back when I started teaching, and I was like, you know what, this is a pretty cool lesson in using the pen tool and kind of creating effects to a photo. Kind of a little image manipulation in a sense. But I'm going to show you how to do the tutorial without having to use the key pen tool that the tutorial asks for. So what I need to do is find the picture. If you don't know where to find the picture, or the picture's not available to you, that's pretty simple. Just go to Google and Google Stan's Record Shop, and the photo actually shows up because it was once a record shop. So I Googled Stan's Record Shop, I went to images, and you actually see different angles of the shop, which is kind of cool. So that happens to be this image, which I hold control because I am on a Mac. I'm working on a Mac right now. I press copy, image, and then I go into Photoshop, which is already pre-opened because, you know, I like being ahead of the game. So I'll click on that, and I did a Command V, and there's my photo. So Command V as in vector, or Control V on the PC. So here's my photo of Stan's Record Shop. Ideally what you need to do now, and I kind of like doing this in Photoshop myself, is like I like to duplicate my layer. So I'm gonna press Command J or Control J on a PC. Reason I do this in some of my projects is in case I mess up, then I have a backup to go to. In this case, we need to duplicate the image because it asks us to duplicate the image. It also asks us to adjust our image levels, and there's two ways to adjust our image levels. I like the shortcut of pressing Command L. You get the same effect if you go up to Image, Adjustments, and then Levels. But I like shortcuts. It's a more efficient way to work. Allows me to work quicker, so I'm gonna hit OK. So in a sense, we kind of took this daytime photo and gave it a nighttime feel. Next step is I actually have to create a layer mask to this photo, and you'll see why right now. So the layer mask icon is right here. My mouse is moving on its own. It's doing weird things, guys. So I'm gonna create a layer mask. I'm gonna press the letter G. The letter G activates my gradient tool for me. If you're ever wondering where the gradient tool is, it is right there, right underneath the eraser. So let me pull up a little bit. I'm gonna click and pull from the bottom up to kind of give it this idea that this right here is brighter. So if I were to turn off the image, or the image below, that's what happens. But with this darker image, it makes it seem like the bright daylight photo is kind of making it give that nighttime effect to the photo. Not too bad, right? Next, I'm gonna create a new layer, and I'm gonna name this layer Neon Tubes, because in this layer we're gonna create an outline around these letters and give it the idea that this is a night sign with neon tubes. Kind of like if you've ever been to Vegas, or you've ever seen a sign with neon lights, like in Hollywood, El Capitan Theater, it's kind of got some of those neon lights going. Old liquor stores, like 7-Elevens, like old like mom and pop shops have these types of signs. So what I'm gonna do now is, instead of using the pen tool how the walkthrough originally asks, I'm gonna press the letter W. The letter W turns on my magic wand. This is where you get that Harry Potter moment. You need to pull out your magic wand and create a selection. Now, you notice I clicked and the whole screen got selected. It happens. What you need to do is you have to make sure you're on your correct layer. You try to use a magic wand on a selection with nothing on it, it's gonna select everything because there's nothing on it. So I'm gonna make sure I'm on the records layer. So I'm gonna press Command D to fix my boo-boo. So I'm gonna click, get the ants going. Then I'm gonna hold Shift and click and select the next letters. And then right up here. Next, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press the letter Q to go into Quick Mask. The reason I do this is because I want to make sure that my selection is as clean as possible. And I can tell already from my experience that if I zoom in right here, these lines right here have a little red in them, which means they're not fully part of my selection. So I'm gonna erase them by pressing E. That activates my eraser over here, if you guys noticed. And I'll erase it to make sure those are deselected. Same thing over here. I'll do the same thing over here. Let's check the other letters. That's for the sakes of playing it safe. Whoops, Command Z or Control Z. Let me erase there, erase here, right in here. Now the reason I'm doing this is that when it comes down to actually creating my selection, it can actually have an adverse reaction to me editing a stroke or adding a stroke to this. So So if I turn on my brush, I can paint on to my selection. If I use the eraser, I can erase from my selection. That's why I like Quick Mask. It allows us to adjust our selections, and it's pretty simple, it's efficient. I can even say it's fun, because who doesn't like to quick mask stuff? So I'm gonna press Q to get out of quick mask mode to exit that. See, if you have OCD and this like little selection bothers you, just press Q, press the letter B in the brush, and paint that bad boy in. And then you're golden. So if I press Q, it's back to normal. Now, I'm going to click on my neon tubes layer, because you want to make sure you're working on the correct layer, or else you're going to be like, no, I messed up. So let's make sure we're working on the correct layer. So I'm going to edit, and I'm going to add a stroke. And the reason I keep it at 2 is I know our walkthrough that I've had my class do asks you to do it at a higher pixel width. But the reason I do it at 2 is because this image isn't the same quality image that the tutorial back in the day gave. So I'm going to press 2 and you see what happens now. So now I have the neon tubes applied, and they're actually there. The selection's still on. I'm gonna keep the selection because I still need to create one more layer. And my mouse is acting up again. On this layer, yeah, right now you see this is blue and white. I'm gonna press D to reset my colors. And I'm gonna press Option Delete or Alt Delete on a PC to fill it with black. I'm gonna double click on my layer, just drop this to multiply. So if you see, nothing happened, but if I lower the opacity, it actually affects the letters a little bit. So I'm gonna press Command D now to deselect. Now I'm gonna get my neon tubes and double click on them and add my effect to kind of give it that glow. So I'm gonna give it an outer glow, and then the color by default already showed up because I've been doing this a couple times. I'm gonna do an inner glow, which, you know, it makes it white. I can make it that blue, and if I hover off to the side, I can sample that blue color or any other color that's a little bit darker. So let's go to the top. I'll hit OK, and I can adjust it, make it center, make it precise. The options are completely up to you. I can even change this, and maybe I want it to multiply and be darker. That's a neon tube, so why would someone do that? That's because I'm experimenting with my colors. So I'm gonna hit OK. So there's my effects right there. What I'm gonna do is take this guy right here, press Command J, and yes, I duplicated it again. Oh yeah, on a PC, Control J. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna go into Filter, I'm gonna go into Blur, and I'm gonna go to Gaussian Blur and give it kind of a little blur effect. To each his own. It's all up to you as to how much of a blur effect you want to apply to it. If you go too crazy, it's noticeable. If you go slightly, it doesn't really matter, but it just applies to the picture. So there's that idea. Now I'm gonna duplicate this guy. I'm gonna press Command J, and I'm gonna make this a multiply. You'll notice that my image gets darker. Not too shabby, right? Kind of cool. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna get my polygon lasso tool, because we have, like I said, when it comes to selections, there's tons of tools. I could use a rectangular marquee, but in this case, I want to be more precise. So let me turn these guys off real quick. See? All crazy little effects. So I'm gonna click here. This way I can see it better. Go this way, go this way. It's an interesting little tool, I'm not gonna lie. Probably not my favorite selection tool, but it's an interesting little tool. And you see I get that little O at the end, the little zero, the little roundness. That lets me know my selection is done. And there we go. I now have that selected. Let's get that here, get that here. I'm gonna click on this bad boy. And then I'm gonna press Command Shift I or Control Shift I on a PC. I'm gonna press G for gradient, and I'm gonna drag from here to here. And then you notice that kind of my pictures intertwine with each other. Now one thing I don't feel the walkthrough had taught my students, and this is just me working on the fly, is I'm gonna press Command Shift I, flip my selection just on Stan's Record Shop. I'm gonna create a new layer. Now what I'm gonna do with this new layer is I'm gonna have a little fun. I'm gonna press the letter I, borrow my eyedropper, and sample this blue color. What I'm gonna do now is go Option Delete or Alt Delete on a PC. Yes, I filled it with blue, right? Kind of cool, kind of a cool concept. I can click right here and go multiply, and let's see how that looks. Yeah, I didn't do much. What if I do a screen? No, not too much. Soft light? It kind of works a little bit. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hit cancel. I'm gonna press delete. No, I mean Command Z. I'm gonna Command Option Z a couple more times to control Alt Z on a PC. What I'm gonna do is press G for gradient, and I'm gonna pull the gradient from the bottom to the top. And now, if I give it this effect, kind of makes it seem like the lights reflecting from stands are giving it that glow. If I wanted to, I can pull the gradient more so it's still active and pull it higher. So now it affects it a little bit more. I can mess around and apply a different color, see how the white affects it. Not too much. So give it a different effect. But that's something I don't think the tutorial showed my class how to do. And I figured if you know anything about lighting, the neon glow from the tubes is probably affecting the sign a little bit in some way, form, or fashion. So I'm gonna press Command D. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on this guy right here. I'm gonna hold Alt. It's Option on a PC. It's Option on the Mac, Alt on the PC. You know, you get those things twisted. And I'm just gonna drag this to the bottom. It's gonna ask me if I want to replace it, and I'm gonna hit yes. So now the blur from that one photo that we blurred applies to the photo, gives it a whole different effect. It kind of adds to the idea of the image, and you see they're kind of identical now. Now let's look at the idea of neon tubes. So I'm gonna zoom in real quick. I'm gonna turn on my eraser, and I'm gonna erase portions of it. Not portions, but little pieces of it, to give it the idea that that's where the tube bends into the frame of the sign and where it comes to life. Okay, maybe do the same thing on the inside of the letters here. I'll give it another pass to make sure it gets a nice little clean eraser. Now if I zoom out, do a Command 0. Command 0. This is what it looks like. This is kind of the idea. This is what they wanted you to actually get to. The final outcome, and the final outcome is going to look just like this, and I'm about to show you guys what to do. So if you remember, there's a shortcut to duplicate your layers. So what I'm gonna do is press Command J twice. You guys notice my lights got brighter. Essentially what they want us to do, or what the walkthrough asks you to do, is let me turn this guy off real quick and turn this guy off. And since I duplicated the layers, you see all my same erasing marks showed up, which is pretty cool. But I can actually add to it now. So say right about there. There. How about we do one here? Go straight down from the D right here. Here to here on the S. And I try to keep it balanced just because my OCD, my nerdiness, I don't know. And then let's turn this guy on. Kind of do it again one more time. Make sure I'm not clicking on the layer so my eraser shows up. So going. Let's add one here. I'll add one here. Bottom of the R. And the reality is it to each his own. Wherever you want to put them, I'm not gonna do that. The idea is that you learn how to do the concept, the effect. So there we go, right? We have all three layers on. So essentially what they want us to do is bring this sign to life. Make it an animated GIF. So that's pretty simple. Let's go to Window. We'll go to Timeline. Open up my timeline. You see how I have a timeline now. In some cases, if you've never used this before, it'll say either create video or create an animation. So in this case, we're gonna create an animation. So you click on it. And then just like we create a new layer here, I'm gonna create a couple here. Let's shoot at 4. Now these little individual guys memorize your every move over here to a certain degree. So what I'm gonna do is, let's go to number 1. Let's turn all these off. Well, let's leave 1 on. So let's go here. And let's go turn this one on. And then let's go here. And let's turn this one on. And let's go here. And let's turn that one on. So now they're all on. So right here I already changed it to forever, so it loops forever. They're all at 2-second intervals. 2/10 of a second. So if I press play, you actually see the sign come to life. And essentially that's what they wanted us to do at the end of this walkthrough. So it's up to you to go the extra mile and be like, look, Mr. L, look what I did. Or just get the idea of pulling off the effect, taking a daytime photo, making it nighttime, and giving the sign a neon tube feel, whether you go with this blue color or any color that you want. But here you go. Hope you guys enjoyed this walkthrough. If you enjoyed the walkthrough, please do me a favor. Like this video. Subscribe. Look at our GoFundMe page. You know, we're a high school class. We could always use a little assistance. But, like I said, hopefully you enjoyed this walkthrough and it's beneficial and you learned something good. And if you did, you're welcome. And I'll see you guys on the next one.